The ego is an illusion. It is a story we tell ourselves. This story begins at birth. We are born into a world of names and forms. We learn to identify with a name, a body, and a personality. This sense of self feels real. We believe we are separate from the world around us, but this separation is an illusion. It is a product of our thinking minds. We cling to this sense of self. We defend it. We try to make it feel important and secure, but the more we grasp at the ego, the more elusive it becomes. Like a mirage in the desert, it shimmers and disappears upon closer inspection. The ego is not who we are. It is a collection of thoughts, feelings, and memories. We can see through this illusion. We can recognize the ego for what it is, a temporary and ever-changing construct. We are not the ego, we are something much greater. Mystical experiences shatter the illusion of the ego. They offer a glimpse beyond the veil of separation. These experiences cannot be forced or willed. They are gifts of grace. They come unexpectedly. They overwhelm us with their intensity. In these moments, the boundaries of the self dissolve. We experience a sense of unity with all that is. We are filled with a profound peace and joy. Words cannot capture the essence of these experiences. They must be lived to be understood. Mystical experiences are reminders. They show us that our true nature is not bound by the limits of the ego. They point us towards a reality beyond our everyday perception. These glimpses are precious. They offer a taste of liberation. They inspire us to seek a deeper understanding of ourselves and the nature of existence. Zen philosophy emphasizes the importance of silence. True realization, known as satori in Zen, arises in stillness. It is not something that can be thought or spoken. The ego, with its constant chatter, obscures this realization. The ego is a barrier to truth. It clings to concepts, ideas, and beliefs. It seeks to define and categorize experience. This mental noise drowns out the subtle whispers of wisdom. Zen practice aims to quiet the mind. Through meditation and mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts without judgment. We become aware of the space between thoughts. In this space of silence, true understanding emerges. We realize that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness that witnesses them. This realization is liberating. It frees us from the tyranny of the ego. Jiddu Krishnamurti, the renowned spiritual teacher, questioned the pursuit of self-improvement. He argued that such efforts only strengthen the ego. They reinforce the illusion of a separate self that needs to be fixed or improved. Self-improvement methods, he believed, are based on a flawed premise. They assume that there is something wrong with us as we are. This belief creates a sense of dissatisfaction and inadequacy. Krishnamurti advocated for a radical approach, self-observation without judgment. He urged people to see themselves clearly, without the filter of their conditioning. This honest self-reflection, he believed, is the key to liberation. True change, according to Krishnamurti, does not come from trying to become someone else. It arises from understanding the nature of our own minds. Section 5. The paradox of transformation. The desire to transform oneself is a trap. It is fueled by the ego's need for control. The ego believes that it can create a better version of itself. This belief is based on fear and insecurity. The paradox is that the very act of striving for transformation reinforces the ego's grip. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of seeking and dissatisfaction. We become so focused on what we should be that we fail to appreciate who we are. True transformation happens organically. It is not a project to be undertaken, but a natural unfolding that occurs when we surrender to the present moment. When we let go of the need to control, we open ourselves to the possibility of profound change. This surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of courage. It requires us to face our fears and insecurities without resistance. In this space of vulnerability, true growth can occur. Section 6. Observing the mind, witnessing the flow. The mind is like a river. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations flow through it constantly. We can get caught up in the current, swept away by our emotions, or we can learn to observe the flow without judgment. This practice of detached observation is key to quieting the ego. It allows us to disidentify from our thoughts and feelings. We realize that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness that witnesses them. When we observe our minds without judgment, we create a space of separation. We no longer identify with the constant chatter of the ego. We see it for what it is, a temporary and ever-changing stream of consciousness. This practice takes time and patience. It is like training a wild horse. At first, the mind will resist. It will try to pull us back into its habitual patterns. But with consistent effort, we can learn to tame the wildness of the mind and find peace within. Section 7. Deconstructing the thinker, a process, not an entity. The idea of a thinker is an illusion. We often speak of ourselves as if we are separate from our thoughts. I think, therefore I am, declared Descartes. But this separation is artificial. The truth is that there is no thinker, only thinking. The mind is a process, not a thing. It is a verb, not a noun. Just as there is no separate entity called walking apart from the act of walking, there is no thinker independent of the process of thinking. This realization is profound. It undermines the ego's sense of solidity. The ego wants to believe that it is a separate and independent entity, but this belief is based on a misunderstanding of the nature of the mind. When we see through the illusion of the thinker, we realize that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness in which thoughts arise and disappear. This awareness is not limited to the content of our minds. It is vast, open, and free. Section 8. Yoga, hypnosis, and the allure of control. Yoga and hypnosis, while often associated with spiritual growth, can become traps for the ego. They can foster the illusion of control, reinforcing the belief that we can manipulate our minds and bodies to achieve a desired state. Some forms of yoga, particularly those focused on physical mastery, can become ego-driven pursuits. The ego thrives on achievement and recognition. It can use yoga as a way to boost its self-image and feel superior to others. Similarly, hypnosis, while a powerful tool for accessing the subconscious mind, can be misused. The ego can use hypnosis to escape from uncomfortable emotions or to reinforce limiting beliefs. True spiritual practice involves surrendering control, not seeking to enhance it. It requires us to let go of our attachments to outcomes and to embrace the present moment fully. Section 9. Detachment, the path to quelling the ego. Buddhism offers a path to quieting the ego through detachment. This detachment is not about withdrawing from the world or suppressing our emotions. It's about cultivating a non-attachment to our desires. Desire is the root of suffering, according to the Buddha. When we cling to our desires, we create a sense of dissatisfaction and unease. We become attached to outcomes, constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. Detachment, on the other hand, brings peace. When we are able to let go of our attachment to outcomes, we are freed from the tyranny of our desires. We are able to experience life more fully, without the constant need for gratification. This detachment is not a passive state. It requires active engagement with the present moment. It is about cultivating awareness of our desires without judgment, and allowing them to arise and pass without attachment. In this space of non-attachment, the ego gradually loses its grip, and we experience a profound sense of peace and liberation.
If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on mindfulness and self-discovery. Share your thoughts in the comments. How do you experience the ego in your daily life? Let's grow together on this journey of awareness.